My girls in their early 20s. This one is for you. Please come, let's have a chat. Society has told ladies, women, young girls, in one way or the other, that when you get to a certain level of your education, most probably after you've had your bachelor's in the university, the next thing is to get married. This is the best advice that I got from one of my mentors of blessed memory. He always told me while I was in the university that Emma, your first husband is your job, and don't make a mistake about that. There was a day I went out and I met this young lady, and she looked at me and she's like, "Please, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And she noticed I was married. She asked me, "Oh, what did you do to get married?" I tried to understand her question per se, and I got her point. But I was answering her not knowing her age. So I just assumed that it was someone who was probably maybe hoping to get married and wasn't getting the the tips or the qualities to find the man right. So while we're talking, I told her that I dreamt and hoped that I would get married at 25, but that did not happen. I finally got married at 28, and I don't regret it, and I'm happy because the things that I learned from the time I was 25 to the time I was 28, if I had gotten married at the time I was wishing, it would have been a catastrophe. So while I was talking to her, I realized that she was young. It's rude to have a conversation with somebody and ask them how old you are. I mean, you don't really know how you might get the person. But I realized that she's young. She's yet to graduate. As in, she's graduating in a few months. And I'm like, I take it that you are 21. I had my first degree at 21. She said she was turning 22 few days later. And I was surprised. I'm like, what's probably making this girl to think about marriage so much? She was really pondering and she had a lot of questions on her mind. And I wasn't understanding why a 22-year-old would be thinking of marriage so strong. And while we're talking, she finally asked me that when you were around my age, what did you do? I gave her the same advice my mentor gave to me. Your first husband is your job. It could be a job. It could be that skill that you're polishing to make a living out of it. That is your first husband. How can she grow? What is she good at? That's what they call self development. That's the stage where you're supposed to be when you leave the university. I'm not saying that if marriage probably comes to you at that time, it's not a good thing. Oh, we all know that marriage is a blessing. If marriage comes to you at that time, yes, it's good. But you should not chase marriage. You will find yourself falling into the hands of the wrong people. Marriage is another domain with its ups and downs, and you need to be ready financially, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, in whatever sense there is before getting into it. Use your early 20s to develop yourself and get a career. That's supposed to be your first husband. when you notice that you have grown, before you know it, the qualities and attributes that make you prepared to be a wife will set in. But for every sister in her early 20s, this particular advice helped me to be very responsible and focused right up to now. I can contribute to myself, I can contribute to whatever my partner is doing, I can contribute to what my friends are doing because I was able to develop myself before walking down the aisle. And that's where your attention should be as well.